Lakers could solve their defensive woes with a simple move. Lakers Nation, the front office is cooking up something that could completely transform our defensive identity and set us up for sustained success alongside Luka Doncic. What I'm about to share with you isn't just another rumor or baseless speculation. This is a strategic move that makes so much sense, it's almost too good to be true. We're talking about acquiring young talent, elite defensive capabilities, and three-point shooting without mortgaging our future. This is the kind of chess move that separates championship organizations from pretenders, and Rob Pelinka might be on the verge of pulling off something genius. Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your home for all the breaking news, exclusive updates, and insider analysis on our beloved Los Angeles Lakers. I'm here to bring you the latest development, the smartest trade scenarios, and everything you need to know about where this franchise is headed. Today's update involves a potential deal with a division rival that could address our biggest weakness while adding pieces that fit perfectly with our timeline. Stick with me because what you're about to discover will have you believing we're closer to title contention than you might think. Let me paint the picture of where we currently stand as a franchise. The Lakers are sitting at 10-4 through the first 14 games of the season, which puts us in second place in the Western Conference in terms of wins. That's a strong start by any measure, especially considering we faced a road-heavy schedule and have been without LeBron James for the entire beginning of the season. The team has found ways to win without the GOAT, which speaks volumes about the talent we have on this roster and the coaching system J.J. Redick has implemented. Luka Doncic has been absolutely spectacular when healthy. Austin Reeves has elevated his game to borderline all-star levels. And we're getting contributions from multiple players who are stepping up in crucial moments. But here's the reality that every Lakers fan needs to understand. We have significant defensive issues that need to be addressed if we want to be legitimate championship contenders. Right now, we're ranked 17th in defensive rating, which is simply not good enough for a team with title aspirations. You cannot win a championship in today's NBA without a top 10 defense. It's just not possible. The league is too talented, the playoffs are too competitive, and you will get exposed by elite offensive teams if you can't get stops when it matters most. We've seen this play out time and time again throughout NBA history. Teams that can't defend consistently do not win titles. The hope within the organization is that LeBron James' return will provide a defensive boost. He's expected to use his communication skills, his basketball IQ, and his ability to make rotations to help elevate our entire defensive unit. But let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. Betting on a 40-year-old player, even if he is the greatest of all time, to completely revamp an entire defensive system seems foolish and unrealistic. LeBron is still elite offensively. He's still capable of making winning plays. But asking him to be a primary defender at this stage of his career is not a sustainable strategy. We need actual defensive pieces, young players who can guard multiple positions and provide energy on that end of the floor. This is where things get really interesting, where the front office's strategic thinking comes into play. The Lakers desperately need a strong point of attack defender, someone who can pressure the ball, fight through screens, and make life difficult for opposing guards. We also need more three-point shooting to space the floor around Luka and LeBron, giving them room to operate and create for others. Finding players who can do both, defend at a high level, and shoot the three consistently is incredibly difficult in today's NBA. Those types of players are highly valued and usually come with hefty price tags or require significant draft capital to acquire. But what if I told you there's a scenario where we could acquire not one, but two young players who fit those exact criteria, and we could do it without giving up our tradable first-round pick? What if I told you we could get an elite defender who's a career 43, 1% three-point shooter, plus a lottery pick from 2024 who has sneaky defensive upside, and the cost would be players who aren't currently in our rotation? This is the kind of opportunity that doesn't come around often. The kind of deal where you're buying low on talent that other teams have given up on or aren't properly developing. The Sacramento Kings are one of the most dysfunctional franchises in recent NBA history. And that's not me being disrespectful. That's just stating facts based on their organizational decisions over the past several years. They have two players on their roster right now who aren't getting meaningful minutes. Players they've reportedly been trying to move, and both of them could be perfect fits for what the Lakers need. One is an established defender and shooter who just needs an opportunity and a system that values his skill set. The other is a young lottery pick who hasn't been developed properly, but has all the tools to become a real contributor. Keon Ellis is the first player I'm talking about. And if you're not familiar with his game, let me educate you on why he could be a game changer for our defense. Ellis is an elite perimeter defender with quick feet, active hands, and the kind of competitive intensity that translates to winning basketball. He's the type of player who can guard the opposing team's best perimeter scorer, who can switch across multiple positions, and who brings energy and toughness on every possession. But he's not just a defensive specialist. Ellis is a legitimate three-point threat who's shooting 43.1% from beyond the arc for his career. That's an elite percentage that would immediately make him one of our best shooters. The problem for Ellis in Sacramento is that he's struggling to get consistent minutes in their rotation. The Kings have made some questionable decisions with their roster construction and player development, and Ellis has been a casualty of that dysfunction. He's a player who should be playing 20 to 25 minutes per game for a competitive team. But instead, he's sitting on the bench watching inferior defenders get playing time. This is exactly the type of situation where smart organizations capitalize, where you identify talent that's being misused or undervalued, and you pounce on the opportunity to acquire them. Second player in this potential deal is Devin Carter, who was a lottery pick in the 2024 NBA Draft. Carter is a 6'2" guard who was selected for a reason. He has real talent and upside that just hasn't been unlocked yet in Sacramento. Reports came out during the offseason that the Kings were already talking about potentially moving on from Carter, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. You draft a player in the lottery, and before he even gets a real chance to develop, you're already shopping him around the league. That's organizational malpractice, and it creates opportunities for teams like the Lakers to swoop in and buy low on young talent. Carter has struggled in his limited time with Sacramento, but that doesn't mean he's a bust or that he can't become a productive NBA player. Sometimes young players need a change of scenery. They need a better development system. They need coaches who believe in them and give them opportunities to grow. The Lakers have shown under J.J. Redick that they can develop young talent and put players in positions to succeed. Carter has defensive potential that hasn't been tapped into yet, and pairing him with our coaching staff could unlock something special. Now, here's where this trade proposal gets really intriguing from a strategic standpoint. The Lakers will be sending out Dalton Necht and Jackson Hayes to make the salaries work in this deal. Necht was completely out of the rotation when LeBron returned from injury, which tells you everything you need to know about where he stands in the hierarchy right now. He's a talented young player with shooting ability, but he's not getting minutes, and he's not part of the immediate plans for this team. Hayes is a backup center who provides some rim protection and athleticism, but he's not irreplaceable in our system. By trading Necht and Hayes, we'd be getting back two players who address our biggest need: perimeter defense, while also adding legitimate three-point shooting and young talent that fits Luka Doncic's timeline. Ellis is only 24 years old. Carter is 22. These are players who can grow alongside Luka and be part of our core for years to come. We'd be getting younger, more athletic, and significantly better on the defensive end of the floor. This is the type of move that raises your ceiling as a championship contender while also setting you up for sustained success in the future. The beauty of this trade from the Lakers' perspective is that we wouldn't have to give up our tradable first-round pick. That asset remains available for future moves, whether it's adding another star player or making additional roster improvements down the line. We'd be acquiring two rotation players, possibly two starters depending on how they develop, without sacrificing our future draft capital. That's incredibly rare in today's NBA, where teams usually have to mortgage their future to acquire talent. From Sacramento's perspective, why would they agree to this deal? Well, if the Lakers can convince them that Dalton Necht could be a cornerstone piece for their rebuild, that he has star potential that just needs the right opportunity to flourish, then suddenly this trade makes sense for both sides. Necht has real offensive talent. He can score in multiple ways, and he's young enough to be part of Sacramento's long-term plans. The Kings are clearly not developing Ellis or Carter properly. They've already shown willingness to move on from both players, so why not take a chance on a young wing with upside? The Lakers would also be including a first-round pick swap in this deal, which is a smart way to sweeten the pot without giving up actual draft picks. We're betting that Sacramento remains dysfunctional, that they continue to make poor organizational decisions, and that they'll be worse than us in the future. If that bet pays off, we get Ellis and Carter essentially for free. If it doesn't and Sacramento somehow turns things around, we still got two players who fit our needs and timeline. It's a calculated risk that makes sense given the Kings' track record. Talk about the immediate impact this trade would have on our rotation and our defensive identity. Ellis would immediately become our best perimeter defender, giving us someone who can guard the Steph Currys, the Damian Lillards, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders of the world. He'd provide that point of attack pressure we desperately need, making it harder for opposing offenses to get into their sets and execute their game plan. His three-point shooting would also space the floor perfectly around Luka and LeBron, giving them driving lanes and creating better offensive flow. Carter would be more of a development project, but he'd give us another young guard with defensive potential and athleticism. J.J. Redick could bring him along slowly, giving him spot minutes to build confidence and work on his game. The upside is there for Carter to become a real rotation player, maybe even a starter eventually, and we'd be buying low on that potential. Even if he never fully develops, we'd still have Ellis as a proven contributor who makes us better immediately. The one concern with this trade is that we be thin. At the center position behind Anthony Davis, Hayes provides some backup minutes at the 5, and losing him would mean relying more heavily on small ball lineups when a D needs rest. But J.J. Redick has shown he's comfortable going small, using versatile forwards and wings to create matchup advantages. We could also explore the B-out market or make another minor move to add center depth if needed. That's a manageable problem compared to the defensive deficiencies we currently have on the perimeter. Looking at the bigger picture, this trade represents the kind of smart, calculated risk-taking that championship organizations make. We're not giving up significant assets. We're not mortgaging our future. We're simply identifying undervalued talent and acquiring it at a reasonable cost. Ellis has already proven he can defend and shoot at a high level. He just needs consistent minutes and a system that values his skills. Carter is a lottery pick who hasn't been given a fair chance to develop, and we'd be betting on our player development system to unlock his potential. The financial aspect of this deal also works in our favor. Ellis will be an unrestricted free agent after this season, which gives us the opportunity to evaluate his fit before committing to him long term. If he plays well and proves he's worth keeping, we have plenty of cap space to re-sign him to a reasonable contract. If for some reason it doesn't work out, we let him walk, and we still got a half season of elite perimeter defense and three-point shooting. That's a low-risk, high-reward scenario that makes perfect sense for where we are as a franchise. Carter is on his rookie contract, which means we'd have him under team control for several more years at a very affordable price. If he develops into even a solid rotation player, that's incredible value for essentially trading a player who wasn't in our rotation. And if he becomes more than that, if he actually reaches his lottery pick potential, then this trade looks like an absolute steal in retrospect. We're betting on our development system, our coaching staff, and our organizational culture to bring out the best in young players. I want to address the elephant in the room, which is that some Lakers fans might not love the idea of trading Dalton Necht. He's a young player with offensive talent, and there's always the fear that he'll go somewhere else and turn into a star. But we have to be realistic about where he fits in our current rotation and timeline. He's not getting minutes right now. He's not part of J.J. Redick's immediate plans, and we have a championship window with Luka Doncic that we need to maximize. Sometimes you have to trade potential for proven production, and that's what this deal represents. The Lakers front office has shown they're willing to be aggressive and creative in building this roster. The Luka Doncic trade was a home run, one of the best moves in recent franchise history. Now they have an opportunity to build around Luka with complementary pieces that fit his game and timeline. Ellis and Carter are exactly the types of players you want surrounding a superstar. Guys who can defend, shoot, and don't need the ball in their hands to be effective. This is how you construct a championship roster in the modern NBA. What I love most about this potential trade is that it addresses our biggest weakness, perimeter defense, while also adding shooting and young talent. We're not just making a move for the sake of making a move. We're strategically improving our roster in areas where we need help most. The 17th ranked defense becomes a potential top 10 defense with the addition of Ellis and Carter. That's the difference between being a playoff team and being a legitimate championship contender. Defense wins championship, and this trade will give us the defensive pieces we need to compete with anyone. Now I want to hear from you, Lakers. What do you think about this potential trade for Keon Ellis and Devin Carter? Do you believe Ellis can be the point of attack defender we desperately need? Are you willing to take a chance on Carter's upside and development potential? And what about trading Dalton Knecht? Are you comfortable moving on from him to address our defensive needs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I want to have this conversation with you. Your opinions matter, and this channel exists because of your passion and support for the purple and gold dot. In conclusion, the potential trade for Keon Ellis and Devin Carter from the Sacramento Kings represents exactly the kind of smart, strategic move the Lakers need to make to become true championship contenders. We'd be getting an elite defender and shooter in Ellis, plus a young lottery pick with upside in Carter, without giving up our tradable first-round pick. The cost would be Dalton Knecht and Jackson Hayes, players who are currently in our rotation, which makes this a low-risk, high-reward proposition. This trade would immediately improve our defense, add three-point shooting, and give us young talent that fits Luka Doncic's timeline. I'm optimistic that Rob Pelinka and the front office are exploring moves like this, because these are the types of deals that separate good teams from great teams. Let's hope this becomes reality and we can watch. Ellis locked down opposing guards while draining threes for the Lakers. If you want to stay updated on all the latest Lakers news, trade rumors, and in-depth analysis, make sure you subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and smash that like button to support the channel. Share this with your fellow Lakers fans because we're building a community of passionate supporters who live and breathe purple and gold basketball. I'll see you in the next video with more exclusive content and breaking news. Let's go, Lakers!